Okay, so Mufasa is coming. Really excited. How do you avoid people's like worrying so much? Just thinking about it, this excitement. How do you avoid worrying about that?
I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I have to actually work to make the thing. And so people's excitement is really interesting, and people's worry is very interesting. It's also understandable. They've been living with these characters for 30 years. Mufasa belongs to them, and so they feel like I'm taking something that belongs to them and I'm like messing with it. And so you have to acknowledge that. But for me, it's just about telling the story.
And what, in your opinion, that draws people back to the theaters to just like follow just like this Lion King world? I know that it's not a sequel, but it's like it's inside this world, right?
Yeah, it's very much inside this world. It's got the characters, Lin-Manuel Miranda did the music, and the legacy of the music that came before. Label M, who I consider the voice of the Lion King, is the voice of Mufasa singing in Swahili. So there's all these really wonderful things that I think are part of the DNA of the Lion King that are very much a part of Mufasa, the Lion King. And I think if you've loved any one of those versions of this story, you're going to absolutely love this one.
And if you could pick one big challenge for this that you've like encountered in this project.
It's so many. Every time you make a movie, there's a challenge. I think the biggest one was to get to the point where the technology just disappeared and it was just storytelling. And so, because these are all new tools we use to make this film, but once we got a handle of them, they just disappeared, and it was like making anything else. Thank you very much.
Have a great one. So I would like to know about your creative process, like when you're like creating a new story. How do you just like pick the one you're gonna produce next?
Well, usually Pete Docter, who's the chief creative officer, he'll ask the directors to come up with a number of ideas, and they'll spend time pitching them as just basic ideas. It's kind of, there's no real science to it. It's by our gut. On Inside Out, the first Inside Out, we were working on another idea, and Pete said, and I was in the room, he said, I have another idea. What if, I've been thinking about my daughter and how she's changing, and what if we made a movie about a little girl that's not the main character, she's the setting? And we went, wait, what? And that was where it just ignited. So it's a combination of writing and thinking and research and just gut.
This is great. About Inside Out 2, that it was a big hit in Brazil, that of course, how big of a challenge it was to translate these feelings into a movie that is also personal yet universal.
Kelsey Mann, the director, when he first came to the table with sort of this idea about anxiety, sort of yourself, it just felt like, that's movie worthy. So we dug into it that way, thinking about the humor, thinking about all the fun and the set pieces, but what was under it is something that we felt was a common denominator for people. And so we didn't really think, well, how will this play around the world? We just thought, how will it play to us, and does it feel big enough that it might? And then it did.
Well, my final question, what do you think that draws people back to the theaters to follow like sequels, like these classic worlds? It's like Toy Story, for example.
Yeah, I've always thought of sequels like getting to visit your old friends or your family. I remember as a kid, and when you could do them and you could shift them, you could add new things, you could still surprise the audience. When I was a kid, I was a Star Wars kid in the 70s, and I remember going to see The Empire Strikes Back, right, and seeing it in snow. And I thought, oh my, like there's more here, like you wanted to. So this idea of a sequel where you're not just doing the same thing, you're expanding the world, you're expanding the characters. To me, that's a big screen theatrical experience that you only get in the movies.
Well, we're so honored to meet you in person. Let's talk Moana 2. How have the story and characters like grown since the first film?
Oh, wow. Well, I think in this story, this is about 3 years after the first film. In the first one, Moana was 16, and she headed out in the middle of the night to save her island. In this story, 3 years later, she now has a little sister who she loves. It's like the most special relationship in the entire movie. So when she's called this time on a journey that she literally may not return from, it's so dangerous, even her ancestors couldn't come back, she has to make this choice because she knows it's so important to go out there for her people, but that also means leaving her little sister behind potentially, and that's something that she's never had to deal with, and it puts her in this real conflict that for her, it's people she loves and protecting her people for years to come, and that's a really difficult spot.
Can we like look forward to more Moana stories? Because what you're telling me right now, there's so much to be told. Yeah,
I think there's no end to the type of stories that we can tell with Moana, and I think that she will always want to continue on the next journey.
You are now Chief Creative Officer at Walt Disney Animation Studios. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, how do you see Disney's role in shaping the world's imagination?
Well, I really had the luxury of working with hundreds of the greatest storytellers and artists and creative minds in the world, and so I think as we head into the future for Disney Animation, it's continuing to do that. It's continuing to bring joy and magic and surprise people and tell stories with characters that people love. So I think we're going to be seeing more of that and more surprises along the way.
Okay, my last question about Zootopia 2, because you're working on it, right? So tell us, I know that Shakira is back to the project.
Back. She is.
And which city inspired you most to create Zootopia?
Sorry, which?
Cities in the world.
Oh, I think it's the beautiful thing about Zootopia. It's kind of a combination of many cities all around the world. So we didn't sort of base it off of one specific place. We knew that we wanted to have a city where it felt like there were people from all over the world. That it was a very international place, and that you have this sort of this very modern city, but it's next to very rural places. It made sense with the animals of our world. So I'd say lots of different cities, but hopefully it feels like everyone's city that they know.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Rami. I'm Fernando Prado from Radio Disney Brazil. It's a pleasure to meet you. So we just watched a trailer of the Amateur. It's coming. We're really excited. So tell us, what was the most difficult scene for you and why?
It was all difficult to a degree because it's an investment in making the best possible work I can so that we can all appreciate it, so that we come back to it. And I think dealing with significant loss is a theme in this film, but what we do in order to protect and appreciate the people we love is an important theme for me. And representing that from someone who is underestimated in a genre where we expect a certain type of hero, I just wanted to deliver the unexpected.
Well, whenever a book is adapted to a movie, we get this concern about what gets included, what gets left out. How was difficult? I mean, how difficult it was to do these choices?
I had that issue with Bohemian Rhapsody, and I think it's the essence of who that person is what the story behind it is, and trying to gravitate to the most important themes. And if you capture those things, it is an evolution or a response or a tribute to a book or a human being, and hopefully you allow that to exist in a different way.
And last question, how was it to also produce the movie, not just star in the movie?
I don't know if this is going to sound silly, but I feel like I'm always producing something because I'm invested in it from top to bottom. So it was a natural evolution for me.
Charlie Cox, how are you doing? I'm Fernando from Radio Disney Brazil. Nice to meet you. So Daredevil is coming soon. We're so excited. Tell us, what does this character mean to you, and how does it feel to be so embraced by Brazilian fans?
This character has been part of my life for over 10 years now, and so it's going to be something that for the rest of my life, is a prominent part of my adulthood. So I feel very fond of the character. I feel greatly honored to be given the opportunity to play this character and to be doing it for so long. I came to Brazil with the Netflix show in, I think, 2016 or 17. We did a big panel here, and then, I remember leaving that experience and thinking, wow, those Brazilian fans are very passionate, so I was very excited to come back. And as we just went on the stage just now, and like hearing that passion and that excitement it's very moving.
This is awesome. How did you prepare for the fight scenes?
In the same way that I always have, with a lot of training, the difference now is that I'm much older, and so my recovery time is much slower, and I have to do a lot more stretching.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Hi, Vincent. How are you doing? I'm Fernando Prado from Radio Disney Brazil. So, what was your process of building campaign? How do you prepare and build this character?
Well, we're taking it further. You're learning more about his interior life, and then we're also he's in a search for more power, and that makes him more dangerous. So that's where we're going with it.
And what did you get to, like, what new sides of campaign did you get to experience right now that you couldn't do earlier, you know?
In the show, we explore more of their real lives, Matt Murdock's and Wilson Fisk's real lives. And so with my side of the show, it's you get to know Vanessa Fisk, my wife, better, and that becomes very intense. And she has a lot to do with the danger of the as a couple, we're extremely dangerous, I should say. I'm trying to think of what I can say without giving things away. But it's that, and then also I think that he's becoming what he thinks is more powerful, and that's going to be something that the audience is going to like, I think.
And what is it like to be part of our imagination? And this is going to be forever because they're a really big character, a big film, and we're going to remember that forever. Does it like it? It's a little bit of a weight in your, while you're like filming or creating.
For the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Like we know how much the fans are a part of this. It's like we say it all the time. Charlie and I, we travel a lot together doing promotions and stuff, and one of the things that we always talk about are the fans, because they've supported us since the first season in Netflix. And now it's obvious I just came off stage with a huge audience screaming and yelling, and they were just loving the fact that we're here, and I appreciate it so much. But I think that the biggest thing for us is to do a really good show and deliver what the fans want. It's a really nice journey to be on.
Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Yeah, of course.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it's so great to be at the very first D23 in Latin America. This is my second time to Sao Paulo. I love this city. I love the fans here, and it's a real thrill to be able to bring all this amazing stuff to the fans. Yeah, I mean, we are fans. When we make all of this stuff as fans. So to be around fans, and being able to talk to the fans on the floor and hear what people like, and it energizes us, it inspires us, and we really do feel like we're at home here.
You're having a lot of job with television and also animation from what we saw today, and you're showing us the future of animation, a lot of new concept, a lot of new art.
Yeah. Being able to work with all those amazing artists, it's just incredible. And I really feel like it's like working at the comics. There's so many different styles, so many different artists, so many different lenses and ways to look at these characters. And that's why we haven't established a Marvel in-house style, because we want different artists to come in and bring their vision to the screen in the way they design the characters and the way they animate movement and the way they make the shows.
Well, it's remarkable. All of the fan relationships we have are remarkable. And you mentioned D23 in Anaheim. I did a D23 in Japan. We do Comic-Con almost every year in San Diego. Wonderful, wonderful crowds. Honestly, nothing compared to what it is here in Sao Paulo. And here at D23 in particular, just the crowd going insane. And you could just feel it. It hits you like a wave, the love and the support. And it's I don't love getting up and talking in front of crowds, but when you're hit with a wave of warmth and fanship like that, it's wonderful. Of Deadpool and Wolverine, literally just before I walked on stage, I got a text from Ryan Reynolds saying, when are we getting together? When are we meeting? I said, Ryan, I'm about to go on stage and show your clip at Brazil. So we will see.
The process from script to the screen.
Every process is very different. It's very different. And I always have this moment of insecurity before I start something new, that is this moment of suspension where you don't really know how you're going to approach something or if it's going to work. And then as you start to dig in, you get more comfortable and you know where your groove is. But I find that each character I play, it takes on a different part of my body or my soul or my life experience, and I try to keep it under control, but it kind of infects me a little bit. Alexi for some reason had excuse me, I'm in the middle of an interview. I'm talking about my process. Yell at the cardboard, Florence Pugh. That's what I'm doing right now. Hold on, let me get back to serious mode. But I do think that we had a blast on this movie. And I think all of us, had so much fun with each other that the character kind of came out of that. There was this even though the characters are acting difficultly with each other, there was such a chemistry between the two of us that I felt like I could be on set and just rely on that. And the improv between us was very special. It was all amazing. Yeah. The best part is about having superpowers, I guess. But also, for me, the best part of the MCU is the amazing actors that you get to work with. I mean, and the amazing departments everywhere, like the best in the business. I mean, I think this movie is shot incredibly well. The acting is incredibly good. The writing, the storytelling, the special effects. I mean, you're just operating at a level that is so high that you just go to work every day and are excited to do it. Except for one guy. There's one guy in the MCU that's impossible.
Oh my God, you're real.
I'm here.
I'm Fernando from Radio Disney Brazil. What is it like to finally become, it's like Captain America after 10 years in the making? How this character shift is for you?
It's great. I mean, we went from the TV show where Sam Wilson was trying to figure out if he deserved to be Cap, if he wanted to be Cap, and in the movie now we see that he's accepted the mantle of Cap and trying to decide where he's going to take that and where that's going to lead him. So we see a very different Captain America in this film, and he really steps up to the plate and takes on that moniker in a great way.
Sí, no, pero para mí era un sueño desde que era niño. Entonces creo que desde el momento que empecé a actuar, o antes era atleta primero y después actor, entonces estar en un escenario así de grande con tanta presión siempre es algo que me encantaba, como siempre buscaba algo que daba importancia en este nivel, pero por fin cuando me dieron el guión y pensé, no, sabes que esto era un sueño, ahora eso es la realidad, es un momento que para mí está todavía hasta este día estoy tratando de como I don't know, it still feels, se sigue siendo como un sueño. Ahorita, mientras que estoy haciendo todo esto, todo el tiempo estoy como, wow, aquí estoy.
Hi, Chandra. I know that you get that a lot, but I love you. Radio Disney loves you.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, after playing Dr. Miranda for so long, how to keep things fresh, also for the audience, but for you as an actress?
Right. Well, it's all in the writing. It's something that I don't put my hands into. I don't make a bunch of suggestions. I wait for the scripts to come out, and then I get inspired and figure out how to make Bailey do that. And that has never gotten old in all of these years.
But these scripts, they give you so much knowledge. Have you ever felt like using your knowledge from the scripts, from the on-screen, on your real life, like helping someone?
I wish I could. I can't call up my inner Bailey at any time. Sometimes if I'm like standing in a line at the post office, I wish I could bring up my inner Bailey to get me to the front of the line, but it doesn't work, no.
So you couldn't do stitches using Proline?
No, not at all, no.
Okay. Well, we've also stepped behind the camera to direct some episodes. How was this experience for you?
I love it more than I thought I would have. It's a different part of my brain that gets to work, and I really love that. I've done 24 episodes now of the show as a director, and just the art of being able to get the filming done and meet my deadlines, and everything comes together in editing, and it looks like an episode of Grey's Anatomy. That's it's something that I never thought I would have been doing.
And is it possible to pick one episode out of all the seasons that you like the most, or like more
Well, I always go back to the first episode, because that's the one that really established what the show was going to be, and that's the one that we always think of if ever we're confused about how should we do this episode. Well, how will we do it in episode 1? And it's kind of our North Star. It guides us.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a great one.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, James. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, great. We're from Radio Disney Brazil.
Oh, okay.
I want to know, how do you see the importance of the show for you, but also for the television industry after, almost 20